Prince Harry didn't just marry Meghan Markle. He married into a ticking time bomb, one wrapped in luxury, cloaked in rebellion, and stuffed with explosive financial secrets. The fairy tale that once captivated the world is now unraveling into something far more disturbing. Lavish spending, legal chaos, dwindling public favor, and royal name that no longer carries the power it once did. But this isn't just about fame or fortune, it's about a man who walked away from a kingdom and may have walked straight into a trap. Before we dig in, do yourself a favor, subscribe now. This rabbit hole goes deeper than the tabloids admit, and the next twist might just change everything. You thought you knew about the modern royal meltdown. It started with legacy. Harry was never supposed to worry about money. Between Princess Diana's inheritance and the Queen Mother's trust, he had a financial cushion most people couldn't even dream of. But insiders now whisper that that cushion, it's gone thin, and the numbers don't lie. His most recent legal endeavor, a high-stakes court case against a British tabloid, has reportedly cost him over £1.5 million. And that's just the beginning. Biographer Angela Levin, a woman who has tracked the royal family for decades, warns that what we're seeing is only the surface. Behind the headlines and courtroom sketches, Harry is hemorrhaging wealth at a rate that's stunned even his most loyal defenders. It's not just the lawsuits, it's the lifestyle. Let's talk about that lifestyle. Meghan may have left behind Buckingham Palace, but she didn't leave behind the palace mentality. Their Montecito mansion, yes, the one with 16 bathrooms, and ocean views, costs a fortune to maintain. Add to that, a fleet of staff, round-the-clock chefs, stylists, security, and a designer wardrobe that never seems to run dry. Sources close to the couple describe it bluntly. Meghan spends like royalty without the royal budget, and Harry, he's stuck in the middle, still carrying himself with the posture of a prince but increasingly finding out that the world no longer bows quite so easily. He walks into court with the confidence of a man still wearing a crown. But the legal system isn't impressed. In fact, it's furious. The judge overseeing Harry's case hasn't held back. He's flagged inconsistencies, demanded missing documents, and even questioned the ethics behind Harry's legal strategy. According to court filings, a private investigator who testified in Harry's favor was reportedly offered £5,000 a month. Let that sink in. That's not standard legal procedure. That's potentially buying influence, and the judge didn't miss it. He slammed Harry's team for vague explanations and warned that unless full transparency is given, names, payments, backroom deals, the entire case could be thrown out. Not just a defeat, but a public humiliation. But there's more. One move in particular raised eyebrows across the country. Doreen Lawrence, respected activist whose son was killed in a racially motivated attack in the 90s, was reportedly urged by Harry himself to join the lawsuit against the Daily Mail, the same paper that once risked legal battles to support her fight for justice. Harry's text to her was framed as unity, a shared stand against tabloid corruption. But critics saw something else entirely: manipulation, a strategic play to align with a powerful voice and boost his case. It was calculated, and many say unethical. The message is clear. This isn't about justice, it's about revenge. A vendetta dressed in legal robes, built on resentment and a desperate need to stay relevant. Once the royal payroll stopped flowing, Harry and Meghan pivoted hard to Netflix. 2 interviews, to lawsuits. The Sussex brand became a business. But lately, it's been all losses, no wins. And even inside their own family, things are reportedly fracturing. Meghan's mother, Doria Ragland, once a constant presence, is now allegedly keeping her distance. According to Angela Levin, Doria has grown tired of Meghan's constant moaning. Her complaints about the press, the palace, the world, when even your mother checks out. That says a lot. Once celebrated as the royal rebel, Harry is now being painted as something far less flattering. A cautionary tale in the making. His charm, once effortless, now feels forced. His speeches, once packed with cheering crowds, now attract more scrutiny than applause. The golden boy of the monarchy, the cheeky soldier prince, is fading into something unrecognizable, and it's happening fast. The courtroom isn't helping. Each legal blow chips away at his image, revealing not a crusader for truth, but a man flailing in expensive suits backed by vague claims and questionable allies. The British press, once cautiously respectful, has dropped the gloves. Commentators call it out plainly. This isn't noble. It's messy, it's expensive, and increasingly it looks desperate. Even Harry's motives have come under fire. Behind the polished rhetoric about justice and accountability lies something colder: financial necessity. The Sussexes left the royal family with bold promises of independence, of building empires on their own terms. But when those Netflix deals underperform, when Spotify cuts ties, when the podcast buzz dies out, what's left? Lawsuits? PR stunts? Carefully staged appearances? Meghan and Harry didn't escape the system. They tried to replace it with one of their own making, and it's not working. The public has noticed. Sympathy that once flowed freely is drying up. People are growing tired. Tired of the contradictions. Tired of the victim narrative. Tired of the endless monetization of their so-called trauma. It's hard to sell the world a story of oppression when you're doing it from a $14 million mansion in sun-drenched California. But perhaps the most telling sign of the unraveling isn't in the courtroom, it's in the streets. At Wimbledon, respected journalist Camilla Tominey was attending a match with her husband when she was suddenly ambushed. A woman seated behind her, identifying herself as a Meghan fan, began shouting, taking photos and reciting an old tweet. As if reading from a manifesto, it was bizarre. But more than that, it was hostile. This wasn't online trolling, this was real life, unfiltered and dangerous. And it wasn't the first time. Critics of Harry and Meghan increasingly report harassment from a fandom that behaves more like a cult than a fan base. Civil disagreement has vanished. You're either with them, or you're the enemy. Angela Levin, a royal biographer who has faced years of digital abuse for merely questioning the Sussex narrative, says it best. It's not debate, it's devotion. And devotion, when fueled by denial, gets ugly fast. Meanwhile, Meghan's influence continues to loom over everything. She may not be sitting in that courtroom, but her fingerprints are all over this drama. From Harry's media deals to his legal battles to his lifestyle choices, Meghan's voice echoes loudest. Critics say she's crafted an illusion, a new age royal mystique held together by designer gowns, subtle branding, and carefully curated victimhood. But illusions are fragile, and money. Even more so, Netflix is reportedly growing cold. The Sussex content hasn't delivered the kind of numbers that justify its multi-million-dollar investment. Executives once dazzled by royal glamour are now reassessing their bets. The novelty is gone. What remains is controversy, and not the kind that sells well. Even former allies are backing away. Hollywood connections have gone silent. Media producers are declining interviews. Meghan's once growing empire of influence is stalling and fast. And behind the scenes, rumors swirl of growing tension between Harry and Meghan. Financial stress, public scrutiny, and constant backlash are wearing them down. Friends whisper about disagreements, about moments where even the facade slips. Nothing has been confirmed. But when even whispers start to sound credible, you know the cracks are showing. Asterisk, while Harry and Meghan scramble to keep their story afloat, the rest of the royal family isn't flinching. Prince William and Princess Catherine continue to quietly carry the monarchy forward. No documentaries, no lawsuits, no drama. Just the same sense of duty that once defined the crown and the public. They've noticed where Harry brings headlines, William brings stability. Where Meghan crafts PR strategies, Catherine builds trust through consistency, and it's working. While the Sussex brand grows chaotic, the Cambridges grow stronger. Their children, especially young Charlotte, are already showing signs of poise, of grace, of quiet strength. The future of the monarchy may very well rest in her tiny hands. And in that comparison, the Sussexes look more like a reality show than royalty. Even Sophie, the Duchess of Edinburgh, stands out as a stark counterpoint. She wasn't born into privilege, she didn't marry with fireworks or media hysteria. But she's earned admiration through dignity, discretion, and unwavering loyalty. The Queen adored her. Diana once called her Miss Goody Two-Shoes, a dig born of jealousy, not insult. Because Sophie did something Meghan never quite learned. She stayed the course. No podcasts, no tears on Oprah, just quiet, effective service. And that's the thing about royalty. You can't cherry-pick the fame without carrying the weight. You can't demand the perks if you refuse the responsibility. Meghan and Harry tried to reinvent royalty on their own terms. Celebrity without the duty, status without the sacrifice. But that's not how legacy works. And now the cost of that miscalculation is piling up. Back in court, the judge's patience is wearing thin. His tone has shifted from firm to cold. He's given deadlines, issued warnings, and made it abundantly clear. Without full transparency, this entire case may be thrown out. And if that happens, it won't just be a legal loss. It'll be a credibility collapse. A signal to the world that Harry's last-ditch effort to rewrite the narrative has failed. Even worse. It could invite deeper investigations into payments, made testimonies bought, and possible ethical violations behind the scenes. No royal title will shield him from that fallout. And let's not ignore what's really at stake here. This isn't just about one court case. It's about the collapse of an identity. Harry was the soldier prince, the wild child turned hero, the royal who dared to love outside the system. He was relatable, sympathetic, a symbol of emotional honesty in a family known for stoicism. But now, he's a man accused of bending justice. manipulating allies and hiding the truth, all while living in opulence and demanding sympathy. And Meghan, she's no longer the symbol of resilience many once believed she was. She's become polarizing and idolized by some, ridiculed by others, and quietly abandoned by many more. The public is no longer enchanted by carefully lit Netflix interviews or Vogue profiles. The veil has slipped. Behind the glamour lies strategy. Behind the emotion lies calculation, and for a growing number of people, that realization stings. They gave their support, they bought the story, and now they feel duped. It's not hate, it's disillusionment. That's what makes this moment different. The backlash isn't just from tabloids or royalists. It's from everyday viewers who once believed Harry and Meghan were trying to do something noble. People who once clicked like on their speeches about healing and freedom, but now can't stomach another self-pitying monologue from behind the gates of Montecito. This isn't a fall from grace, it's a free fall from illusion. The Sussex story began as a fairy tale rebellion to people walking away from tradition in pursuit of freedom. But what it's become is something far messier, slow. Public unraveling that's no longer about right and wrong, but about relevance. In reality, once hailed as a modern love story, defying the odds, Harry and Meghan now resemble something far more familiar. A celebrity couple running out of good headlines. They've tried everything: documentaries, books, interviews, lawsuits, partnerships, podcast deals, and each time the returns have gotten smaller, the applause more muted, the skepticism louder. Their latest effort, this courtroom drama, was supposed to be the big reset, a chance to win back public favor, reassert moral high ground, and strike a blow against the press that's long been their favorite villain. But instead, it's turned into a financial and reputational nightmare. The court isn't budging. The judge's warnings aren't idle. If Harry's team doesn't fully disclose who was paid and how much, the entire case could be tossed. And with it, so goes any hope of reclaiming credibility. But here's the deeper issue: if this legal effort collapses, what's left? No major media projects on the horizon, no guaranteed platform, no clear path forward. The media industry that once saw the Sussexes as golden content is now circling back with one shared conclusion. The narrative is spent. There's only so many times you can retell your origin story before the audience checks out. And now, more than ever, the contrast with the core royal family is devastating. William and Catherine are ascending quietly but steadily. Their image is one of resilience, grace, and modern responsibility. They don't need Netflix. They don't need lawsuits. They show up, they serve, they stay out of scandal, and it's working. Even their children are growing into public life, with a balance of charm and discipline that evokes the best of Diana, without the chaos. The monarchy, whatever people think of it, is proving that tradition doesn't have to be loud to survive. It just has to endure. Meanwhile, Harry and Meghan are left with drama, a legacy not of revolution, but of regret. And for those who still defend them, ask this: what have they built? Beyond the noise, beyond the brand, what lasting legacy have they created? The truth is brutal. They tried to cash in on their trauma, but now that currency is worthless. The world has moved on. And unless something drastic changes, the Sussex name may soon be synonymous, not with freedom, but with fallout, because legacy isn't built on lawsuits. It's built on service, on consistency, on sacrifice. Harry once had that. Meghan could have earned it, but they traded it all for a spotlight they couldn't control, and now they're running out of light. So as the court deadlines loom, as the public interest wanes, and as the royal family tightens its grip on the future, one question remains: will Harry and Meghan finally crash? Or will they pull off one last pivot before it's too late? We'll be watching, and if you want to keep watching with us, don't forget to subscribe. This isn't the end of the royal dramas, just the next chapter. And trust me, the fallout, it's far from over.